back to racing on circuits and asphalt this week. Back to Pocono.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, Pocono gets its the name, the nickname Tricky Triangle for a reason, and it definitely was tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. Running both series this week. I mean, it was fun, but you definitely had to manage all three corners differently.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know, it Pocono's never really been my strong suit to begin with, and I'm honestly surprised. I'm glad that I finished third. Um, because I mean, I had I think a top five car, um, maybe top six, at the very least. Pretty much the whole race, and um, no, it takes a certain kind of driver. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I was kicking myself. I feel like I could have weaseled the top five away had I not shot myself in the foot earlier in the race, and that was just pure uh, pit road exit stupidity on my part, getting myself a lap down early. Just ever so slightly not being below that line entirely at the very, very end of the pit exit.
Yeah.
It's not very well marked, in my defense, but
No, it's really
still.
not. It and the exit, like the actual line, where the cone is or whatever. Um, I mean, it's like right at the entrance to turn one. I mean, you can kind of barely see it on the wall there.
Yeah.
Um, so it's even under green, it's a little sketchy if you're not paying attention. Coming back up on track, but everybody made it work for the most part. There wasn't really like any major incidences or anything coming off of pit road, aside from the couple people that um, did get the black flag for an unsafe pit exit. But um, no, I was really surprised at that. It I expected. I don't really want to say expected. I half-ass expected someone to kind of do a Mike Wallace at Talladega leaving pit road incident.
Yeah, I would not have been surprised if that had happened. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, for sure. But it's another race that everybody had fun. I I caused a little bit of an incident. Um, on one of the later restarts, but um, that was just kind of going for broke there at the end, and um, three wide in the tunnel turn. It never works. You may think it will, and sometimes it should, but it doesn't. So
Yeah, the math says it works, but the reality of the situation is it does not.
yeah, pretty much.
Let's see if I can find that because I was involved in that as well. I think this is the restart.
Yeah, so I mean, right away. I mean, I after the line, I uh, made it. I think at one point I was four wide, um, and then Corey, I was trying to stay in front of him, but I didn't want to blatantly block him and then put myself in a worse situation um, before the tunnel turn. So
Yeah, here we
right
are.
here, I really had to check up for the seven, um, because he was on older tires, and I run so much rear brake here. Once I'd had to jab the brakes, it was kind of game over, and I was just saving the car.
Right.
Um, but yeah, no, it definitely tore it up on that one.
Yeah, and I got in too hot, just being up high, trying not to cut down, so I got up in the wall before all that,
Yeah,
and just barely get nicked by Jake as he's avoiding you, and both of us go around.
Yeah.
So I think that was really honestly the only major incident other than probably the one before it. Just trying to remember
Yeah.
what that was. I know there's.
Um, it was Greg. He had a single car spin off of one. I believe that was right in front of Clark and Corey. He just, I mean, it was just one of those. You got loose, and then, I mean, it was up the hill. There was no saving it whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it just bobbled, so.
There's that bump that I'm pretty sure he probably hit that bump that's right there in one.
Yeah.
That unsettles
that
it.
was
So.
That bump was treacherous. I don't remember if it was the Xfinity. I think it may have been the truck race. I found that one out the hard way. And accidentally got into Hanrada. We were making it 3 wide going into the center of turn 1. Somebody was way up the hill, and me and him were really down low, and yeah, I nailed that bump. It was the first time I ever nailed it. I mean, and it just shot me a full lane up into him, you know. But no, like I said, all in all, the racing was great. No matter where you were, and it's surprising because, I mean, it is Pocono. But no matter where you were, it seemed like somebody was racing somebody. So, and the between the stage break and the end of the race, there was a lot of like photo finishes, really, between a few of them.
Yeah, a lot of very close racing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know at the end of the race, I just barely edged out Jeremy on the coming to the line. And it was, I mean, it was inches that I got him, and I know that there was wasn't quite that close, but it was still really close. For the stage break, I believe it was either Jeremy or Ed, and Greg. One of those, I know Greg for sure, but one of the other two, it was a pretty close finish between the two. For I think it was 6th for the stage, but no, it was definitely a blast to watch and a blast to be a part of, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had fun, and I don't even really run the Xfinity cars that much, so it was a fun one to participate in. And like you said, anywhere on the track really was nice and easy to find somebody to run with.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Clark and Corey, they're out in a league of their own.
Yeah, and you picked right this week.
I did. At least for one of them.
Yeah, at least for Xfinity. So.
The trucks, go figure. Clark didn't show. So.
Yeah.
But no, it. I've got to talk about it for a second. I am still butthurt that I know it wasn't intentional by any means, but I'm still butthurt that that caution came out at the end of that.
Oh my God! You, me, and I think maybe Clark. No, Ed. That's right, Ed.
Yeah.
We're on the fuel strategy, and for once it was playing out into my hands. About time one of these damn things fall out into my lap. It gets ripped away again, just like a few other times.
Right.
I was sitting there thinking, like, man, I don't run this that much, and I'm going to steal myself a top 3 here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just purely on fuel strategy, but yeah.
Yeah, I went back and watched the broadcast and Clark's interview, and I know he had said, he's like, I don't know if Michael was or those guys were going to have enough fuel to make it to the end. He was like, I don't really think that they were going to. I was definitely green.
I
I was
was I was green by maybe a quarter of a lap.
I was going to run out at the line. Like that's where I was like, I don't need to go past it. I don't care about doing a burnout. I want another one.
Yep, exactly.
But no, it wasn't meant to be, obviously, but it was. You got your two different classes at Pocono. You've got your drivers, and then you've got the crew chiefs,
Yeah,
the ones that think like a crew chief.
yeah. The drivers and the strategists.
Yeah, and I said it last week. Pocono is definitely not one of my strong suits at all. So yeah, obviously, I'm gonna, especially when you see two or three people, they're gone. I mean, and they're gone. I was running, I think, fourth at one point, and maybe third. I don't remember, but I know that Clark and Corey, they were 10 seconds ahead of me under green. And it's just like, all right, I gotta start thinking outside the box because I'm not gonna win this. But no, it was definitely a blast. Aside from that incident in the tunnel turn, like I ran a clean race. I didn't get into the wall. I didn't spin out or lose it or anything. And I would have expected at least pounding the wall either off of one or the tunnel turn at least once throughout the race. I guess you could kind of say that, that tunnel turn incident, maybe sorta, but no, no, it was like I said, it was a really good race for us. It was 2 weeks in a row. That was really good. That's what we need. But yeah,
And now we're gonna test all that here going to Road America.
Yeah, that we will.
Yeah, we just got off a full-on practice session there, and it is a bear. It is it is going to be interesting to see that one play out. For me, it is going to be all about survival, and I am only running Thursday because of that, because I will burn myself out doing it 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I'm only running Wednesday. It's saying that it's a bear is putting it nice.
Yes.
It's brutal. It is going to be brutal. There's no grip anywhere. You may think that you have grip and you may get into a rhythm for a short amount of time, but that rhythm will soon get taken out because all it's going to take is just that one little slip up, and then you're gone. Yeah.
And Road America does not have a whole lot of forgiving spaces to run off to.
Because it's
you don't have paved areas for the most part. You've got lots of gravel or a wall.
Yeah, and I mean it's not only that, it's the high speeds, that you're carrying.
Yeah.
Especially with those 3 straightaways. 2.5, I guess.
Yeah, but it's an immediate. If you miss your braking point in the wrong direction, there's really no hope in saving it. It's a mess. Just trying to woe it back down, and you just hope that it's not a wall on the other end.
Yeah, even the tires. I mean, the tire walls, man. They, gosh, those things hit just as hard as the concrete walls.
Yep.
I hit those a couple times head on, and I mean, it's just instant. Lose your front end, lose your hood.
Oh, yeah, and it's very easy to pop a motor there, too, if you hit something the wrong way. Or hit somebody the wrong way, either. So it is, it's going to be interesting for both series, but we'll get back to that in a bit. On to the trucks, though. think it was more or less the same story as the Xfinity. You always had somebody to run around. Pretty clean race, from what I saw.
Yeah, it's like I said, that one incident with me and Hanrada. Other than that, I didn't really, have that many on track issues. It was just that one, I believe. And the result for me doesn't really justify the the running position that I was running throughout the race. Well, I guess right here I'm in the back anyways, but I think I ended up messing up qualifying, which is what started me out back. No, it I was really, I've got to talk about this because I know that I had mentioned it to you. I was really surprised how the trucks were running the same lap times, if not a little bit quicker than the Xfinity cars.
Yeah, that was so shocking to see at first, but it had everything to do with the way the trucks handled the corners. You could hustle these trucks through the corners.
Oh, yeah.
On all three corners. I mean, in different ways, but in all three corners, you could hustle the truck. The Xfinity cars felt a little bit more, you had to tiptoe them through the corners at times.
Yeah. No, I mean, you most definitely had to tiptoe it. And that's just that lack of downforce with them, and obviously more power. And we fought, well, let me rephrase that. Y'all fought super tight cars on Wednesday. I fought a super loose car for some reason.
I actually had a pretty balanced one. From what I could tell, the ones that were complaining about a very tight car on Wednesday were overdriving the corners.
Yeah.
I think those of us that were either moderate to loose had the corners backed up just far enough that you weren't scrubbing. You weren't scrubbing getting into the corner. Because there's not a lot of banking here to catch you.
Not at all.
So that was at least my observation and assumption on the tight versus loose debate on Wednesday. Because it seemed like anytime I would get tight, I'd catch myself just overdriving a corner a little bit, and next lap back it up and it's back to being good again.
Yeah. No, I got like hella slideways, off of turn 1 and occasionally turn 3. But yeah, mainly off of turn 1, it was you're holding on for dear life. But no, the trucks, they were on rails, and yeah, those were definitely a blast to run in. I actually had more fun with those, even though I didn't have as good of a finish as I did in the Xfinity cars. I had a lot more fun running the trucks than I did the Xfinity, just because I think the balance issue, because I was holding on for dear life in the BRP series. I mean, it was bad,
Yeah, it was definitely a night and day difference in terms of handling between the two series, and I think that's where your time is coming from, is just that the trucks were handling that much better, especially through the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was any major incidents. I guess I had the one towards the end. I want to say maybe it was this one? I don't remember, because I did end up having to use my last quick repair on something, and I'm trying to remember what the cause of it was. Because the first one was my own mistake. I ended up pancaking the wall pretty hard, and I thought I didn't need that. I didn't think I would need the quick repair, and all of a sudden, I'm driving a little bit slower, and I get down pit road during the stage break, and it's like, shoot, minute and a half or something to repair. I mean, it was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I repaired and got back out on track and ran fine. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was fine. Just a little slow on the straights. So then I used my one quick repair at the next service. But I'm trying to remember what the incident was that got me all tore up. I thought it was going to be right here, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because it was towards the end, and obviously there was a caution for it, and I think this is last caution. Yep.
Yep. That was when I got into Hanrada.
Yep. Okay, so I made it through that one, so it must have been the one prior, but yeah, I don't even remember. Racer's brain right there. Don't even remember because it probably really doesn't matter.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well.
But man, we want to talk about putting on a show. Corey once again up front and dominating.
Pulled the weekend sweep.
Yeah, first. I think that's our first weekend sweep.
Yeah, it was
if I'm not
too.
mistaken.
Yeah, no, he and he didn't even. I don't know. He may have had the fastest truck, but he wasn't out front, in the truck series as much as I thought he would have been. He was hanging around, between like third and fourth, really, the whole race.
Yeah, but never outside the question, though.
Oh, no, absolutely not. But, yeah, no, it's, I thought, that was Senzi's race to lose. And obviously, he did. I don't remember exactly what happened, but,
well, 3 wide for the lead usually is a good place to start.
Yeah, but you can do that pretty comfortably in turn 1.
Yeah, you can do that all day long down the front stretch.
Yeah. But there it is.
That's what did it.
Yep. Okay. But no, yeah, it's yeah, and it was the same with the BRP series. Just watching that just now, Corey was in the right place at the right time.
Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
That's right, and he was definitely lucky with both races there. Obviously, lucky to a certain extent. He did have a really fast vehicle both times, both races. So definitely can't take that away from him. But
absolutely not. You got to be good to stay up front like that all day long, to be in that position to take advantage of that luck when it's presented. So it's can't just say he was in the right place at the right time but didn't have any skill. He was absolutely up front the whole time, ready to take advantage of the situation when it presented itself.
Absolutely, and that's what you got to do. Especially towards the end of the race. And I would have loved to have been up there and give him a run for his money. Because by then I felt like I could have. But after the incident with spinning Hanrada, it put me back in the back, and I couldn't really recover from that at least as fast as Hanrada could.
Right.
Obviously, Hanrada's got that short run speed, and I've got that that longer run. So that's just pretty much his driving styles, really. But yeah, like I said, though, it. Even though I finished 7th, it was still a lot of fun for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Pocono being back on the schedule next season, so it'll be one to look forward to, and maybe not circle on the calendar as a possible win, but just something to go out and enjoy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I suppose if fuel comes back into the equation, you never know with those races. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, and even so, Pocono always, at some point, fuel strategy comes into play. Whether it's
always
at the end of the race or, the stages, whatever, and yeah, no, that's just how that track is, always been. And it's weird how that plays out because, you would think, shorter tracks would be a lot more common, not the bigger ones with the higher speeds. It's a little more difficult to save fuel.
Yeah, that's what you'd think, but I mean, I guess at Pocono you can save quite a bit of fuel going through those corners, since you do have to drop so much speed as it is. If you just back them up, roll through them, it's easier to save, I would say, at Pocono than say like oh,
Talladega or Daytona.
well, you can't save fuel there other than in the draft. I'm thinking more like
Yeah. Or
Michigan,
Michigan.
but like even Michigan though, you can roll out of it and just coast it for a ways.
Yeah.
I guess one thing is with the shorter tracks, you've got less opportunity to sit there and just coast. It's
True.
down, it's down into the corner and hard out of the corner, and if you try to mess with that, that style, you go slow, like significantly slow.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
you can cook some time at a track like Michigan or Pocono, where it's like, okay, well, if you back the corner up a little bit, it might actually do you some good anyway. And if you're just not in the gas and you let it roll and let it get through it, I mean, you're not losing that much time comparative to everybody else, but you're saving, significant enough amount of fuel.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm really surprised that it didn't come down to some sort of fuel mileage. But then you got to get lucky with with how cautions fall or don't fall, and so on and so forth. But I think especially with cautions coming out as late as they did, because the majority of the races were ran really clean. I think it just came down to fatigue, really, and then slipping up, I mean, it takes a lot out of you for sure, so, but yeah, no, like I said, it was definitely a blast, either way, so, it's nice to have those fun races again, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, trucks are off to the same torture as Xfinity cars or the BRP cars. Off to Road America. That's gonna be.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think
Oh
is
yeah, for
the
sure.
proper way to put that.
Yeah, and I did I think I talked about it last week a little bit. I did an official race, and then with the trucks, and it obviously with the the more fuel load that's gonna lose her, but it I don't know, they looked a little bit more stable on track than what I had experienced, but not by much, but I don't know, I thought the trucks handled bad until I ran the Xfinity cars today. So
Yeah, it looked like you guys were struggling with those. I didn't even want to touch the Xfinity cars. I was like, okay, I don't need to change that set. I mean, I started my driver notes 2 weeks ago for this upcoming race. And so I've been tweaking those here with just the trucks, and I was like, I don't even want to try to mix in another car this week. It's just going to be the one car. That is it.
right, yeah, no,
I mean, I would say after the amount of laps I ran tonight, I feel comfortable being able to put down a clean-ish string of laps. So I'm gonna have to play the consistency card because I don't think I have the top end speed, but I mean it's not terribly slow, I would think, but I guess we'll come find out on Thursday.
right, yeah, and like most road courses, they come down to like a survival of the fittest kind of thing, and I don't think I've or will ever experience, maybe not, I guess I probably shouldn't say that, but Road America versus Watkins Glen. Yeah, Watkins Glen was kind of a survival game last season. But it was also whoever made the fewest mistakes. Road America, I feel like it's just going to be survive, so much more, just because of the higher speeds and the harder braking corners, and all that. I mean, it's just both vehicles are just completely on edge, and it's going to be brutal. I mean, I'm going to be exhausted after the race on Wednesday.
Yeah, it is more opportunity for mistakes at that track because there's more hard braking zones at the end of fast straights. There's, as we mentioned earlier, there's no forgiving runoffs, really. I mean, you go off, you're off. There's grass to catch you maybe in the best spots, a wall to catch you in the worst spots.
Yeah. And everything in between.
Yep. And just running the couple hours here tonight that we were messing around before we jumped on to record. I'm feeling it. I'm tired already, and I'm like, that was just practice where I'm not running around a whole lot of people.
Right.
Like, I was trying to intentionally set myself up there at the end to just start running around people just so that way I could get that rhythm going. And man, that last 30 minutes probably wore me out more than the first hour and a half.
Yeah, no kidding. I just, I don't know what it was. I just could not get a rhythm at all, and this might be one of those races where I run it until, stage break and call it for me, if I even make it that damn far. I've always felt somewhat comfortable at Road America, but I've never felt uneasy like I did tonight, it's just, I don't know, and it's a looseness that it just sneaks up on you. And because there is no banking, and a lot of these corners are, severely bumpy, you're very, very lucky if you are able to save it, like there was one corner, I don't remember which corner it was, but there was one corner in practice there where, I felt great, and then, I just barely put my left sides on the curbing there, and it wasn't even enough to upset the car, and I wasn't in the gas, and it just whipped around. I mean, they would just, I've never really experienced, a spin out by yourself with no help, not on the gas. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It was so unpredictable for me, because you could hit your marks, one lap, and then the very next, it's just you're blowing through the corner on the same mark. So I don't know.
And it doesn't help that, most of the braking zones for that track either have elevation change or, as you were saying, bumps, or both. So it's like you don't have a nice smooth entry into most of those corners when you're on the brakes hard. Like, I think 2 out of the 3 heavy braking zones, no, 3 out of the 4 heavy braking zones are all downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, it I don't know. I think the one, well, I don't know. I guess I can't even say that now because, at first I had turn 1 down pretty well, and then the towards the end of our little practice session there, I couldn't stop blowing through the damn thing. But I started getting the middle stretch braking point down pretty well. But I tell you what, man, that if you can make it through all that, and then you get to the exit of the carousel and um, that little right-hander on the backstretch. Those two, holy hell, will they sneak up and bite you?
Yes, they will. Like that turn 11, which is that slight right-hander. That if you're in a GT car, you maybe burp the throttle at most, but you're pretty much flat out through there.
Yeah.
In these, it is a corner you actually drag the brake getting into, at least for the trucks. Yeah, I drag the brake for just a minute just to set it, let it get in there, and then punch it out of there. And it is just, otherwise you're going up through the grass and into that wall in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for the Xfinity cars, I mean, it's, I don't know. Some people were able to do it, great. But for me, I don't know, man. It didn't matter. I tried a couple different braking styles, braking points, and it, I don't know. It was just like, you either, it was just, for me, it was like the front tires just had zero grip, and it was just going straight, even though I was turning right, and I don't know. But yeah, all the other corners are looser than hell. And that one, it's just that you just can't turn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be different because I'm gonna have race notes up as a reminder. I'm gonna pin them to. I got a board right here, right next to my screen. Put those up. I mean, I just had them up on my side screen here today, but my side screen's usually full of, sim racing app stuff, streaming stuff, admin tools. I mean, like, I should take a screenshot of that screen someday when it's active. It's just cluttered with a bunch of stuff there off to my left. Just bunch of stuff that I may or may not need throughout the course of a race. So the racing notes are going to have to go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, you're better than me. I just kind of wing it.
Hey, I don't normally take racing notes, but this track merited the need.
Right. Yeah, no kidding.
Because, damn, that was a challenge. Because at first I was trying to wing it, and I'm like, no, I'm kind of forgetting through the track. Once I finally got it all the corners figured out, I'm like, all right, let me sit down, figure out what it takes to get through each corner, mark it, go to the next corner, mark it, etc., and then just, all right, go out there and try to string it all together. So that way I can glance and say, okay, I'm coming up on turn 5. I need to be in this gear, and this is how far out I need to start braking.
Yeah.
Notes to myself on how to maybe try to survive, and then still end up in a sand trap, and then it's all for naught anyway.
Pretty much, too.
That's kind of what I feel like it's going to happen. But, I can try.
Doesn't matter if you go out into the sand trap. You just got to be the last one to do it.
Yes.
Because then that just means you're the one that survived.
Correct.
So.
That is true. But man, that session kicked my butt tonight. I'm exhausted. So let's move on to picks. I know that's going to be like the damn lottery.
Right.
But let's move on to picks. I picked first last week. Obviously, that did not help me whatsoever in making the right call. So, who do you think's the road ringer there in the BRP series?
Well, it's going to be one of two people. It's either going to be Jake or Corey, maybe Clark. I got to go with Jake this week, though. I think he gets his first win with us.
I could see that, definitely, especially with him running in the 24 hours come Friday, or Saturday, I think is actually when he's running.
Yep.
So that'll be good to hear the results of. And what about the trucks?
Man. All right. Well, the trucks I'm gonna pick Corey for. Well, yeah, I'll pick Corey. hopefully he runs.
Fair enough. All right, so you went Jake in the BRP series. I mean, the smart choice is probably pick Corey because he's won everything else so far, style-wise. And he did seem to be running some pretty darn good times there tonight. So I'll go Corey in the BRP series at least. And for the trucks, I'm gonna go Dave Gage.
Pretty solid pick there.
He's putting down some solid times in the truck today, and I think he has the ability to keep it nice and clean and just kind of, if he's not necessarily up front early, he's not going to be the one making the mistakes because I didn't see too many mistakes out of him during practice.
Right.
So he's definitely, I think, going to be the maybe a little bit more of a dark horse from what others may think, but I think he's got it in him. I think he's going to pull it off and get his first win here in the ASMR group.
Yeah, that would. That's definitely a pretty solid pick, I think.
Well, cool. I don't think there was a whole lot else. I mean, like we had said last week, it's kind of nice not having too much drama to worry about in the post races. So.
Right.
I think we will have plenty to talk about after Road America this week.
I imagine so.
I'm sure it'll be a lot of off tracks, a lot of complaining about the cars, and probably an unknown winner for either series. Honestly, like I could see that happening. Just somebody that we haven't talked about, somebody that we wouldn't even thought of, comes up front just from virtue of keeping it clean.
Yeah. It. I don't know. I feel I'm gonna be really surprised if there is a clean vehicle out of each race at the end of the races this week.
I guess time will tell.
Very much so.
Well, I guess use that then as a nice reminder. Is if you haven't turned a lap at Road America, you better go turn a lap before we start Wednesday or Thursday, because it's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
It is brutal. It'll wear you out.
One of those things where you can, you like me. I was just thinking to myself, they ain't gonna handle it that bad. I'll just, ride around in the back, gather data, and go for it. Nope, it's not. It's not gonna be like that at all. Like that's how I normally am, and I should have been practicing weeks ago for this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been practicing the last couple weeks for it. I'm not fast, but I mean, I can at least, given enough time, get the truck around and last an entire fuel run. Not cleanly. I mean, there is mistakes in that entire fuel run, but I can get the truck from start of fuel run to end of fuel run now, and I feel like that's an accomplishment in itself for me. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess Thursday will be telling, and you're running the 24 hours as well, I believe on Friday, correct?
Yeah, me, Senzi, Greg LeBlanc, I believe Tyler Booth, and maybe Ryan. Maybe. I don't remember if he is on the roster or not. I believe he is. And then a couple of road ringers that Turn Left Racing has.
Cool deal.
So we've ultimately got 2 teams going. Yeah, it's going to be a busy week for me because, I guess not that busy because I'm not running the truck series this week. But,
a lot of road racing, though.
Yeah, I know. Go figure, right? Like, what are the odds of that?
Yeah, why didn't you check the calendar before you scheduled a road race right before the road race?
Well, here's the thing. Even if I would have checked the calendar, it wouldn't have did me any good because they just released this. I think it's like shortly before Christmas or right around.
Yeah, but it usually falls around the actual Rolex 24, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Because that is running, I think, the 30th and 31st. So, what's that, a week after? Yeah, week
Yeah.
after. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Guess you'll have to tell us the woes and tales next week of how that went. Because as much as I said, I think in the summer I said, you know what, I want to get practiced up, get my safety rating up, get up to the point where I can run a 24-hour race like the Rolex or something, just because that's a track I know fairly well. But clearly I didn't get to that point. Kept putting it off, and then the holidays hit, and then I got back, and then I got busy with other things, and the next thing I know, I'm like, well, I could really just slam it out in a weekend or so, but at this point it's like I don't have a team, and I haven't put enough time into actually planning it out, so I think I'm going to kick it another year down the road.
Yeah.
Maybe participate in the Sebring or something.
Right. Yeah, they've got quite a few that come up. But yeah, it I don't know, I'm just doing it just to say I did it, honestly,
Exactly. That's the reason I want to do it, is, so that way I can say, hey, I participated in a 24-hour event, and maybe after your experience this year, if you want to do it again, we can have a has-beens group.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, road course racing really isn't my thing. I was shocked that I got the win at Watkins Glen last year, or last season rather. But I don't know, that I guess if I had to choose a road course, it would probably be the Glen. That's one that I'm really, really familiar with. But yeah, I don't know. Like I know the track layout for Daytona, but it's more so along the lines of I'm so used to running, these stock cars, so I'm used to having to back up my corners, an extra 100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, these sports cars, it's very much you dive them into the corners and they just stick.
Yeah. Well, most of the time.
Well,
these BMWs are on edge, but or at least they were, So.
All right, let me rephrase that. They stick a lot more compared to one of these heavy stock cars.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but it should be interesting. It's gonna be brutal. But my main goal is to keep the car and clean, more so than anything. Obviously. So, just looking to be smart about it and get experience. See if I do enjoy it.
Yeah, survive the shift first and make sure the car survives it with you. I think that's priority one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think for me that's what I would be. Is I doesn't matter what leg you put me on. My strategy would just be survive to the end of my shift, make sure the car survives to the end of my shift, and worry about speed later.
Oh yeah, for sure. And for me, it's going to take, at least half of each stint to get into a rhythm, and then be comfortable enough to, start picking up pace and then working on passing and whatnot. So.
For sure. Well, that'll be interesting to hear about next week. But I think that is going to do it for us.
Yep, I do believe so myself.
A good deal. Everybody have a good week. Good luck at the road courses turning right. Remember that first corner is a right turn, not a left. So
Yeah. Right.
so, but yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, I think that'll do it. At least for me, I am good. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, that'll do it for the ASMR Pit Pass.